All right. It's time. Hi guys. Hola, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Érika. Lots of nice people already in the chat. Hi, welcome you all. I'm really happy to be here. It's been ages since the last live stream I made, so this is a bit crazy. And I forgot to close the door of the office, so if you hear some noises, that is the coffee machine going, but it should be over soon. Just some grains being, what do you call it, like the grains when you like, I guess grained? I don't know. Yes, so let me put something real quick here. These are some studies that I made, since you might already know I will be attempting to sculpt David Bowie. I don't know that it will necessarily be very successful. It's very different when I do... Oh, thank you, John. That's grind coffee beans, yes. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, and I don't know that this sculpt will go super successful, because when you see the videos, they are edited, I have time to practice, there's like a lot behind it, and when I'm live stream, yes, I panic, like you don't see all the time that I spent just testing and making mistakes. But anyway, I did those studies to kind of like familiarize myself with Bowie's face. I chose Bowie from the 90s, especially from the video I'm Afraid of Americans, because I thought he looks awesome. So yeah, this last drawing is the main reference that I'm going for. I didn't super nail down like a front and a side view. I wanted to keep it a bit loose. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Anyway, so let's get started with this. Just real quick, a view to the chat. Hi, Depresivo Alternative. Wookster is also one of my favorite singers, probably one of my best. Ryder, hi, how are you, from Sudan? By the way, guys, I am in New Zealand. I would love to hear where you guys are watching this from. Manuel Serrano, thank you so much for the nice wishes. If there's like Spanish people listening to this, I know that there's plenty of people waiting for more Spanish content. It is on the plans. We just are like trying to understand how this new how do I say it, like new audience works and everything, because the channel has been historically always in English, so yeah, we're trying to understand numbers and go from that. This school will be like a live concert, probably not a school, absolutely never as cool as David Bowie. I'm gonna do a quick adjustment because I think I have the small robot logo on my face. I don't know if that's true, guys. If it feels a bit dumb to have like the Mike Wazowski thing there. So here on my screen, I've got my reference. This is a software called PureRef. I can type it down if anyone is interested. PureRef. This is a free software, and you can put a bunch of photos and stuff. So I collected like plenty of screenshots of Mr. Bowie. From this screenshots is that I made this drawings that I show you at the start, and here is my super loose drawing. So I want to go for some stylization, not super realistic. And this is my base mesh from which I'm going to start working. I like to have this sort of things already made. It's usually evolving instead of starting from zero, because it takes ages to start from zero. This is a very simple thing. This is just a sphere that has some subdivisions here, so I can go from low to high. I love working like this. I get a lot of control. I have some spheres that were squashed. How do I show it? Here we go. Yeah, spheres. Nothing too interested. More spheres for the eyes. This is duplicate, another sphere. Wee cone. Another cylinder cone. Yeah, so it's nothing too extraordinary. And this has not been shaped at all for the design yet. I only because I want to keep it loose so it works for different characters, so I can shape it around as much as I want. Probably one of the first things that I'm gonna do is hide what is the nose, if I can find it. Nose bridge, and this is the ear. I should probably name that. I'm sure that you guys are very excited to see me naming things. So I want to get kind of the proportions here first. So this character has a long face, so I'm gonna try to expand this. The eyes are way smaller. I'm gonna start by hiding the slits. And this is probably gonna look very creepy. A lot of my sculpts look super creepy when they start, and they take a while to shape and look decent. If you are doing characters and try to put them to make them just slightly realistic, whenever you're placing eyes, you want to make sure that the midpoint, that this area here, is around the same size of one eye. I have the measuring tools. Yes, so this distance, you want to have a very similar distance here. Of course, this is a stylized, so it doesn't have to be perfect. If I was going for really realism, then that would be much more strict. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep going here. I haven't done a live stream in a while, so this feels a little bit awkward for me, guys. Hopefully it's not too boring. Yes, I think maybe a tiny bit more squish. This is a lot of like discovery while I'm going. So Ryder says that you sculpt in Blender. I have actually not tried sculpting in Blender. I've been doing in Blender, what's it called? Box modeling. It's very nice, much better than Maya. But I haven't tried yet the sculpting. Okay, so now I'm kind of like getting this concave bit for the eyes. I'd like to start with sort of like skull-like shape to make sure that things are sort of grounded in reality. And there's a lot of stylization that can go to these stages. And I can choose this, I can go to a higher resolution level and maybe start shaping it a little bit. Oh, that's very kind, Isa, that you found the videos useful. How long have you guys been doing sculpts in Nomad? I've been at this a bit longer than a year. Before that, I only did sculpting on ZBrush while I was at school, but I hated it because I find ZBrush very difficult, and I stopped doing sculpting at all until I found Nomad. It's very nice. Gigi says, I'm wondering if I could start a sculpt in Nomad and import it in Blender to use in a game. Absolutely, yes, you can do that. If you export, here I'm going in this top project menu, export, you've got several export settings. I've taken models to Blender by choosing OBJ, and that's one of the most universal, what is it called, formats for exporting to different. Wookster has never used Nomad. It's great. I really enjoy it. I don't know, I've had way more fun here than in ZBrush. I've gotten back to ZBrush because that's just what life required. But I don't know, I always find Nomad so much better. So much more friendly. Right now I'm trying to work on like this main features. Trying to get like this really sharp cheekbone that Bowie has. A little bit the jawline here. I know it looks creepy. It's seriously, so much of my work looks absolutely creepy at the start. Probably what I'm gonna do next is work on the chin, because he's also got a very interesting chin there. I'm pretty much just using the move and drag tool. I am using a little bit crease so I can make like this sort of things, like sharper bits, and I also love to use the flatten tool because the temples of the head, the sides tend to be real flat. And let's see, ZBrush also very expensive, yeah, and it's expensive, but it was cool before it got bought by Maxon that you could just buy it and then forever get the updates. But now I guess it's gonna have subscription, so who knows even what's gonna happen there. Yeah, definitely Nomad is not as intimidating as the PC softwares, as Gun ISIS is. Yeah, I hated it. When I started doing ZBrush at school, it was just painful. Yeah, it was terrible. I had my teacher was a great sculptor, but his teaching method didn't really work too much for me. So it was a lot of suffering there. Let's see, so some people have been using, Gigi has been using Nomad for a month, Javier has been using Nomad for 2 or 3 months, so pretty recent, pretty new. Degas, I'm sorry if I mispronounce things, guys. I have a weird mix of Mexican and New Zealand accent, mostly Mexican, of course. But yeah, I don't know how to English anymore. My mind is really confused all the time. It's also morning for me, so my English sometimes skips up. Haha. And I say the dumbest things ever. Now, this is something that I do very often. This is a cylinder, but I have not validated. You can see here that it's still saying validate. And I don't like to validate right away because I can make adjustments. For example, like I could make this thinner, I can make it shorter, since I am still in a very blocky stage. I'd rather be able to manipulate this. And I'm seeing from my reference that I made this nose quite shorter, so I'm gonna do that a bit shorter. Let me hide those things and place it there. Maybe that's too short. And Bowie has a real cool, like, tiny nose, like really up pointing and thin. So that's the sort of thing that I want to get in advance. Wookster says that your first language is English and you're terrible at it. I'm terrible at Spanish as well. Gosh. I think that, I don't know, I guess that especially when one is tired, the brain just finds difficult to find words, or I don't know. Do I dream in English or Spanish? German teachers whose nightmares were in English, that's pretty interesting. My brain thinks a lot in English, so it can happen either way for me. I can dream in English or Spanish. I studied French for a while when I was in university, and one time I had a dream in French, in probably terrible French, because I'm not really good at speaking it. Yeah, but now like my brain like easily switches around between the two, and I have also lived for 3 years in English speaking countries. I lived in the States, in Florida for a year, so that helped, and I've been almost 2 years in New Zealand now. It's kind of weird still to think that I can dream in English. Oh, Dagus is in Florida. What part of Florida are you at? Just all of you guys. I'd love to hear where you are from. And I'm starting to use the clay tool now. I really love being able to move between these resolutions. When I can go low, it's easy to shape it, but once I'm starting to go into a bit more detailed shapes, again, I'm just doing right now the cheekbones, then I can happily go here, and I can always add more if I tap here where it says subdivide. It goes even more detail, but right now I don't need it. I will later. So this is fun. I don't know why this is just a me thing. I'd like to have the wireframe on, but I know that plenty of people don't. So this is a preference thing, I guess. Metamood thought I was Japanese. Interesting. No, that's very far away from me. Something about the way I say my name. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Gon Isa, you're also a Spanish speaker like me. Sometimes there's English words that I forgot how to say in Spanish. That also happens to me, like I just mix both languages, like I'm trying to say some kind of sentence and I say like half in English, half in Spanish. I feel pretty silly when that happens. Or I'm talking to my parents, and they say something and I start answering in English just because I'm used to it a little bit now. Let me see. Isa is in Spain. Nice. Alicante, España. Javier, I was saying it in Spanish. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. It's in Texas. Which part of Texas? I used to visit Texas often with my family when I was living in Mexico. TK702 is the drawing Sculpt of David Bowie. Yes, Mr. Bowie. We can be heroes. I don't know if it's gonna turn out any good, but I will try. For anyone joining, I'm starting with my base mesh. This is really rough. My sculpts look really creepy, especially whenever I'm doing characters. I start from a very anatomical skull approach. I think this is how you can get more likeness. At least this is how I've had more success doing it. If I can sort of nail down shapes like the cheekbone, try to get like, it's like a question mark shape that I create. I can probably draw it so it's clearer for you guys. I'm gonna use the paint. So a face creates kind of like a question mark shape here, and this question mark can look super different from person to person. There's people that have it really square, some have it like very narrow, because we all have different skull shapes. So that's what I'm trying to get here at this point. I'm also incredibly not efficient at the moment because I'm trying to look at this and at the chat and interact with you guys. But yeah, I find that idea really cool, and I can see from my drawing that Bowie has like this sharp, more square-like corner here, which I could probably attempt to do. It's a little bit of flatten and clay there, and also the question mark here. I'm doing it quite big, and Bowie is way more compressed, so I will fix that. So lower resolution level and try to squish this. Yeah, so this is a really weird, creepy stage of trying to get likeness of a skull-looking thing. But it pays off. I am absolutely not gonna finish this while I'm here in the live stream, guys. But I will continue documenting this until it's completed. Let's see. Bing Coland. Your tutorials have been super helpful. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. These comments make me really happy, guys. I do them because I think we all need help all the time, and there's plenty of people that have to help me, and so hopefully if you guys have found them helpful, at some point you'll have the time to help someone else, and yeah, just keep spreading knowledge. We can be heroes, like Bowie said. It's cheesy time. Yeah, mi compadre Boro says that Mexico is a mixture of many cultures. Yeah. Where are you, compadre? Are you, was it Cuernavaca or Querétaro? I think. Cause like if I can recall correctly, we're like technically from close places in Mexico, but still like the culture can be so different there. Like the way that we call food and stuff. And it's pretty much the same in the States, like from state to state there's such differences. Querétaro, yeah. Yeah, you're pretty close from where I am. So I used to live in the north of the city, so it's just like you go into a highway and you're like straight to Querétaro. Let's see some other comments. Lazy Man got Nomad but has never used it. It's great. It's a great program. Like it's even fun to use it even if you're not like doing anything that's I don't know what I'm saying here. Just have fun with it. Like when you're starting, it's great to use it like kind of like doodling, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Having a bit of fun, expecting nothing special, as in don't try to do a masterpiece, just doodle, get used to the tool. Sorry if I'm rambling, guys. Just goes. Hello there. Do you know why my object looks like explode if I box or remeshed it? I would like to hear more about what you mean by that. Like explode. Like does it loses its shape? Does it I don't know, look like low resolution? I can show you a couple tricks that I've learned for doing better voxel remeshing in a bit. I am now playing with the eyelids. It's just flattened spheres. I try to keep them low resolution. I like also to paint on the eyes the pupil so I can see, I don't know, so it feels less creepy, slightly more human than if it didn't have it. Let's see. Creepy! I mean, I know it's already creepy, everything, but I don't know. Something helps about this. Okay, just go. So it happens after you decimate things. It sounds like you might not have enough resolution. I can when I have this slightly more shaped, I can probably go through it, so it's a better example how to do it. Wookster is asking if there are more than one person to a small robot studio. Yes, we are 2 people, my husband and I, and my husband Michael. He is more on the rendering side of things, more production side of pipeline and 3D. I'm like at the start, I do concept art, I do modeling, and then he does everything that goes after animation as well. He's a brilliant animator. So it's the 2 of us. He's the one who started the channel, and once he was famous, I went in and I took advantage of the numbers.
I was famous.
Yeah, you're famous.
Oh wow.
You're already, what, 10K?
It was just about 10K, I think.
He did all the legwork with the channel. And yeah, Boro, my compa from Querétaro, says, hi, Michael.
Hey, I saw. Look at chat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What is it called to say it out loud?
Hola.
Hola. Michael speaks a little bit of Spanish.
Muy poquito español. Probably not loud enough to be heard on the mic.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear Michael on the background. Alright, so now I'm gonna start building the volume for the mouth area. The teeth create like a cylinder. If I like turn around, you can see like this is pushed out my lips by the teeth, and that's another shape that can vary a lot from people. Like if you compare it to the drawing on top of me, like Bowie's is like much larger while mine is like compressed, and then you have like a little sphere for the chin. They say that they can hear you.
Alright, well I won't swear too much in the background then.
He will not swear too much. Swearing, 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 no swearing. Not on YouTube. Maybe just a little bit. I probably should have added a neck instead of just a floating head here. So we got 15 people watching, that's awesome. We got some people from the States, from Texas, from Florida. We got people from Mexico, from Querétaro. Where else? I'd love to hear where you guys are. We're in beautiful New Zealand, rainy today. We're in the land of the hobbits. Steve Tucker is from Nevada.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Whoa, another New Zealander! Awesome.
That's the same New Zealander from before.
Ah, I think I didn't read it, I'm sorry.
Or is there someone other than Worcester?
No, that was Wookster.
Germany, nice.
Yeah, nice, Germany.
What part of Germany?
Dorothy has been using Nomad for 2 months. Nice. It's a lot of new people to
You
Nomad.
say using chat?
Oh, yay! Joel! Hello! How are you, Joel? Good to see you here.
Whoa, I cannot pronounce that place, but it sounds cool.
Yeah,
Rhineland Pfalz? Rhineland Pfalz?
I've never studied German, so sorry. I will fail if I try to
Southwest.
pronounce this. Awesome.
Is it near the Nürburgring? Is that in the south? I don't know where that is.
We like
The Nordschleife.
cars and Formula 1 and races, so we want to go to Nürburgring. Oh, thank you, Joel. It's still very early stage. That's cool. Let's see. Depresivo Alternativo, Mexico City, Chilango. Love it. My mate. More compadres. 3 hours away from Nürburgring.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd be there all the time if I was you. Nürburgring.
I probably say it's super
I'm
wrong.
probably pronouncing it wrong as well.
Sorry.
She's terrible considering how many laps I've done in video games of that track. The small robot character. You want to tell that one? John,
that's you.
John would love to hear the story of the small robot character.
Yeah.
There isn't much of a story. It's a character that it was actually, funnily enough, one of my first 3D models, and it just became a easy model to use as like a thumbnail for lots of YouTube videos, like a couple of years ago. And there's an animation that I did which I never put out with him in it because I wasn't happy with it. Maybe one day I'll get around to finishing that. Probably not. And and then he became the logo, I suppose. Érika redesigned the logo when she joined to make it better because it was pretty poxy. It's pretty much all there is to it. I use them, I don't know if Érika does, but at the end of all the videos that I produce, I use them for like the last 10 seconds as a prop. Usually catches fire, or he's made of jelly, or he squishes. There's a bunch of different things. So it's a handy little character to have when you need a piece of geometry to test something. I usually use that. So yes, that is that's the short version of the story. He's a great character. Thank you, John. That's very nice of you to say.
Yeah, thank you. You also did paintings with him, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did some paintings back when I was actually doing digital painting.
Yeah, for a while he was doing digital painting. And then he realized he loved the 3D side of things better. We have Carlos Alberto from Brazil. Have I ever tried using a smartphone for modeling or an Android tablet? Right now I'm using an iPad. I've tried very briefly Nomad on my phone, but I mean, I got my Android phone, yes. But since I got the iPad, I really didn't bother to go real intense at it. This is also something that I do very often. I start working in orthographic view, but then I forget to go to perspective, and I should always be working in perspective because this is like how it actually looks like. You can see like the change, the deformation here, and it changes. Like a lot of the stylization maybe doesn't work once you switch to perspective. So that was silly of me to not be working in perspective. Like if you want to line up things perfectly, then it's fine to be in orthographic, but we see things in perspective. When I tried using Nomad on my Android, I was using a little stylus. I have an old Samsung Note, Galaxy Note I think it's called, and I was using the pencil thing, but the screen is a bit not very good. Like it's been what is it called, a bit busted when I use the little pencil, the stylus. So yeah, I just like rather use the Apple Pen. Makes life way easier for me. You can see that I changed my reference because I didn't really make a drawing of Bowie on side view, which is incredibly important, not only the front view. let me move this, because this jawline is not a very nice shape. And here, because he's a bit older, he doesn't have this corner of jaw that sharp anymore, because the skin from there starts to hang. So I really need to add a neck here. So let's do that. Let's try something that you might guys find a bit weird, because like we could make a cylinder for the neck, but that is gonna look like real stiff. But I will try to use a tube tool. And let's actually go to orthographic, because I want to line up perfectly. I'm gonna choose pad, and I'm gonna set 3 points there. And that's a tiny neck. Let's make this much bigger. First of all, let's align it. Center it here. And now the cool thing is that I can give the neck this natural curvature that it's got here. And now it's not gonna look as stiff as it would without it. And let me see my drawing again. I don't really see the neck because it's gonna be covered by this turtleneck here. So I guess I don't need to worry too much about what the stylization is gonna look like. Just want to check that is straight, and if you are happy with that, we can validate that, or leave it, maybe actually not validate, so I can modify it later. And now I can start working with the bottom here, this bit down, the down part. I don't know, when I was less experienced artist, I used to always ignore the bottom of the jaw. I would just make it like a sharp cut, like when everyone, young or old, we have skin hanging from here. I have quite a bit here. There's people that have way more chin than me, so that's stretch and it's not as notorious. But we still have it, so your characters might look weird if you don't add that.
Nomad's got an outliner equivalent to like Maya and Blender Ray. It's like a tool list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scene, the second.
Yeah.
Well,
just asking how that worked.
Yeah. So we have this menu here, the scene menu, and anything you add, any mesh, any kind of this like things here, are gonna be listed here. I like to activate an outline settings here, so it's highlighting whatever I have selected. It's got some basic tools, like move them around here. You can rename, delete, or duplicate. And here at the bottom, you can create more shapes, more primitives, more things. And then we have this other menu, the merging. For example, let's do a simple merge. Maybe I don't want to have two things listed there. I just want to make it one, because they are both the nose. So they're both selected here. I can do a simple merge. And now they're only one thing. Beep, 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 beep. I use this like to organize my scene. I'm trying not to delve too much in this sort of things because it's kind of boring to watch. And I will cover voxel merge shortly, because that is like recalculating. Like you can see how the topology changed there. It went from this to this, and now they're actually joined. I will use this once I am somewhat happy with my shapes. Hopefully that helps, Joel. I'm gonna start shaping this nose a little bit, like making this thin part over here. It's slightly wider there, like the bridge of the nose. Kind of like this. I'm using the same shape to kind of create the nostrils, the wings here. And I can also start shaping this. What is it called? This sphere. That's not validated. That was why.
Funnily enough, we're printing your last live stream sculpt at the moment.
Yeah, we have a 3D print, a massive 3D print.
3D printer.
3D printer, yeah. And we're doing several tests. I have a couple prints here I can show you guys. Here we go. A little hand, my hand, which Michael printed for me. I created this in Nomad if anyone is curious, and then it was exported to whichever software you use for that.
Yeah, some terrible software. That's not very good, the software that comes with the printer.
Do you export in OBJ?
Yes, it's OBJ.
Yeah, 'cause someone was asking earlier about that.
For 3D printing?
Yeah.
I think it depends on the printer. I think sometimes they want an STL file.
STL, yeah, I think you can do STL. Yes, you can do STL exports in Nomad.
Yeah, so I just check if anyone is interested in 3D printing what their specific printer needs. But generally, OBJ is fine for pretty much everything. Mind you, I did have to prepare the mesh in ZBrush. Though I'm sure you could have done the same thing. I just had to combine everything into one tool and die mesh it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you can do that here in Nomad. Once we get a bit more experience, I can do a video probably dedicated on that. Like that sort of things, like creating the vase like you did for that character.
Can you update your Gumroad beginning Nomad tutorial?
Dorothy, that is... I'd love to hear more about this. Which like things you were having trouble with. 'Cause yeah, like the software is changing all the time. So if there's like something specific that you can give me feedback on, what are the things that don't quite look the same that I can help you with, I'm more than happy to have a look at it.
Yeah, that could even be an addendum video or a prologue video that you can add in just with some bits and bobs. But yeah, that's the problem with software. It's always very fluid. Every year, basically, every software has got new tools or they've changed something. Even Photoshop, I'm using Photoshop right now, and like constraining the proportions of a scale is different from when it was.
Oh
the
yeah,
last version that I used.
Photoshop is annoying. Absolutely annoying. Do I usually draw the character before sculpting it? Yes. I have an illustration background. I know that this is not gonna be true for everyone, but I like to familiarize myself with the shapes, with the style, like just try to understand what I'm doing instead of starting from zero. I think that I get better results if I do it. At least some studies I put earlier. I can probably play them again. So here we go. I made those painting studies. They're loose. I didn't try to spend too much time on them. I didn't try to perfect them, so some of them are a bit wonky. But try to understand what the shapes, what shapes make Bowie, what shapes make his face recognizable, what things I could stylize, like the fact that the distance between his nose and his upper lid, it's long as it's stretched, the shape of his head. It helps me a lot. I know that there's plenty of people that just go straight into sculpting, which is fine as well. There's several ways to do it. And you can see here that then I take one of those and I start making a line drawing on top. I try to define even more this like skull shapes on his face. It's still starts a bit realistic. It stops real fast. Let me see. Here, like this is still kind of like keeping some realism, not stylizing, and then I make a copy or I start like playing with those deformations to try to get a more cartoon-like thing, more stylized. Let's see. Yes, I did a video on the hand, on this hand that I sculpted. Yeah. Yeah, just look for sculpting a hand in Nomad, and this is literally the hand that I sculpted for that. Beast House Studios, that's a cool name. Thank you so much for your nice comments. And anyone new joining, please let us know where you're watching this from. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to get slightly more detail. Here, I'm gonna make a copy in case I mess up. And maybe I can try doing some voxel merging sometime soon. We'll see how that goes, because there was someone asking about like voxel merging messing up the shapes, like everything looks exploded. Oh god, I can't speak. So I got this and I want to join it with the nose shapes. I'm not gonna do the eyes yet. I like to grow little by little. But before I do anything, I'm gonna go into multi-resolution. I'm gonna go into the highest working level. This one is probably too much, so I'm gonna delete higher and delete lower. So I can no longer move around. This is it. This is settled down. Same for the nose. If I'm doing resolution levels, I just want to keep one. So there is another one here. I don't need that other one. Actually, I'm gonna delete the lowest one. What I want is for this to look smooth, not low resolution, not how do you say it? Like not like super geometric. This is too low resolution. See how I don't have a lot of polygons, which is fine at the start, but now I want to subdivide a couple times, make sure it looks smooth. Once it's smooth, I delete lower. And once you have done that, you can select the things that you want to merge. So it's the nose bridge, the nose tip, and the head. Let's bring this so you can see what's happening. And now I'm gonna do the voxel merge. So instead of having the pieces, I'm gonna join them all together. This number is gonna be the resolution. You can see the polygons there, that grid. And this is like low resolution, that checkerboard is bigger squares. A lot of this is testing what works, what doesn't. And let's see, voxel merge. So this is the result. I might go a little bit higher because that was maybe too low. And I'm gonna add here build multi-resolution level, and I'll show you what that does in a second. Voxel merge, that's not looking very nice. Maybe here? There will always be some smoothing that you need to do, like here, the bridge of the nose, but this might work. And I have 2 resolution levels, you know that where I chose, let me go back. Here there's a number, it's usually set to 0, but if I set it to 1, it's gonna give me more than 1 resolution when I merge it. So I can still move around like between this high resolution and slightly less high resolution, which I love to do. And I can now start shaping this with a lot more detail now. I think that I'm going a bit too soon into this stage, but I understand that it's boring to watch the previous stage in which I'm just tweaking, moving around. So I'm doing this for you guys. Excuses. I just don't want to keep it boring. Like honestly, a lot of my boring process, I just cut it from the videos and I give you the fun stuff.
That's the whole point of the live stream, is so people can see how boring
Yeah, exactly. You can see how boring a person I am in real life. I'm sure my boringness comes across in the videos anyway. Let's see. There's something in Russian which I don't know how to translate or say.
I'll do that.
Thank you for your hard work. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I don't know how to say your name, your username. But thank you for joining. That is very kind of you. Wookster. Oh, that's also nice. I'm glad that you don't find it boring.
I think it's good to see, like, that it's not all, that there is a hard work aspect, so to speak, and there's some sort of rote things that you have to do and that everyone goes through, so you don't feel like you're stuck doing the boring part alone, I suppose.
That's true.
For all the people out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this part of the process can be real valuable if you rush it. The result might not be what you are expecting. And I can start to get this shape of Bowie's brows, kind of like, not quite angry looking, but it's got like that nice curve. That's definitely something that gives likeness for him. And I'm gonna start building the volume between the upper lid and the brow, because that's a really interesting volume. I have it here on the reference. You can see this over here. See how much of the upper lip is hidden. Like, you can barely see it, like it's super in shadows. What you see is this hanging bit under the brow. You can see it here as well. See how it's hidden. And right now in my sculpt, like this is super prominent. So I'm gonna start to hide that part. I used to not know about this, and it made my sculpts really weird looking, and my drawings as well. So I need to push those eyes back. They're too far in the front. Beep, beep. And push back a little bit more like that. Yeah, I think that works. Lock. Irregular base shape. How do I create an irregular base shape? That is easy. Let me see. I'm gonna make a cylinder the way that I would do the ear. And I have these little controllers down here, like those little dots on the side. This is gonna let me move some stuff, but also here on the top I have a menu that's called radius. If I tap it once, I get 2 controllers, so it lets me do adjustments. This is a primitive still, so it's very limited what I can do, but I can make some adjustments to make it not as perfect. And once it's validated, then you can start moving it around, making it as truly irregular as you want. So hopefully that helps. And let's go back to trying to get those eyelids. I'm gonna bring this reference bigger. And I probably need to show a lot more this, make this sharper. It's maybe starting to look less creepy now, I don't know. And yes, I need to build up this volume here. Beep-bitty-bitty. Say hide the lid. Just using a clay brush, nothing too fancy here. And it's especially like hanging from this side, from this part. And then it's a bit not as hangy here. If that makes sense. And I'm gonna relax this mesh a little bit. When it starts getting real stretch, I choose the smooth tool and then I activate here relax. So that's gonna keep the shapes. That's gonna avoid the shape from softening, I guess, from smoothing, but it's gonna unstretch the topology, the mesh. See how smooth sort of destroys the shape. And I don't want to destroy the shape. I might need to do another voxel merge because this topology is not helping me. Or go a higher resolution level. Let's see. Yeah, thank you. XM Catax. Catax, I don't know how to pronounce that. Catax? It's like a tax for cats. To cat our IRS. Catax, Catax. Is Nomad for static purposes or static sculpting or animation purposes? Alone, it can only work for static sculpts. If you want to use it for animation, you would need to use other softwares. Because for animation, you need to have a mesh like this that is optimized. It has to deform well. It has to have a much lower number. So you can take this into a software like Blender, Maya, 3D Code, and make a new version of it, keeping loops. Do I have something that I can show? Give me a second, guys. I might be able to show you something on Topology. Here we go. This is a character that I sculpted. I started in Nomad, but this is a topology that is made for animation. And I can probably bring something to mark here. There we go. Like, see how we have this topology like going around the eyes. That is important so the eye can blink, so it can make deformations. We also have another loop. These are called loops. That goes around the mouth, so a character can open and close the mouth. And these are way less polygons than what you see in Nomad. So you have to go through this process and rigging as well, which is adding the bones and stuff. You can see, where's my, this is the animation, the video. I'm not sure that I have the video here of this character, but yeah. Well, in case you're curious, this is the final thing. Ah, it doesn't want to play. Fine, iPad. Yeah, so it's quite a bit of steps to get to animation, but it's absolutely doable. And there is a software, it's not been released yet, but there's a lot of development going on, called Cozy Blanket, I think. And that is gonna be for retopology in the iPad. I don't know if it's gonna be available for Android. I'm really excited about that software because I love the retopology process. No, Nomad doesn't have any retopology tools. Like, the most that you can do is recalculate your mesh, like I did here when I voxel it. This, that changes it. But that's as far as it goes, unfortunately. I don't know if there's any plans for that happening. I don't think there is at the moment. I would love it. I really enjoy Topology. Cats should pay taxes. Yes, absolutely, cats should pay taxes. But it feels like we're paying taxes for the cats, doesn't it? Alright, so I'm gonna start shaping the eyes, because now it's just like a squish sphere here. And they are low resolution, but that's cool because it's easier to move. So I can start doing this sort of shape. And let me bring back my drawing. Yeah, that's not very detailed. But I can make this actually look like an eye. And bring this down, bring it a bit more to the front to create a tear duct. Make sure you give some thickness to the eye, like see how much thickness I've got. The eyelids are meant to protect the eyes, so if you make them flat like paper, they're gonna feel weird. There we go, bottom lid, very similar thing. Bring it to the front and bring it up. I don't know if there's any other artist that does this for the eyelids. There's plenty of techniques that you will see to create eyelids. I love to separate them from the main mesh. I don't know, makes it feel a little bit more less chaotic. Let's see, just Bowie's eyes. What do they look like? This cool shape that he's got. Something like this. Since I didn't do a very detailed sketch, there's still a lot of discovery for me going on and how I stylize the shapes. Then make this go down. I probably need a mask because I just move a bunch of stuff down here. So let's create a mask for protecting. Masking, masking, masking. Now I can bring this down. Cool. But he is looking very sad right now. Mr. Bowie is not a sad man. Let's bring that wireframe out. And build this shape, some volume. There's also bone underneath our brows. In females it tends to be not as protruding, and males it tends to be a lot more. This of course varies. It's not set in stone. But I like to build some volume here regardless. And that mask is looking weird, so let's smooth that. Yeah, so it's starting to look human, right? And hopefully it's not as terrifying as it was before. Now I want to build a little bit of the volume down here, like the eye bags and the cheekbones. Not the cheekbones, the lower orbit of the eyes. J. Dowie. Oh, thank you so much. That is lovely. Your beautiful donations, really appreciate it. And your kind words. Thank you, thank you. Yes, Dorothy, please do send us an email. I am, again, more than happy to revise the content. Just in case you guys are curious of what Dorothy is talking about, and to make a really natural transition to some advertisement, It's about my head sculpting course.
I'm doing it.
What's it?
I'm linking it.
Yeah, Michael is gonna set a link to that. It's a course that I made. It's a 3-hour course for sculpting realistic faces. A lot of what I'm doing right now with Bowie is explained here with a lot more detail on how to look at the skull, how to manipulate the shapes, how to create lightness. And as you can see, I sculpted my silly face. I made this a year ago, so there are some changes in the software for sure. So if anyone is interested in having a look at that, there you go, the link. Michael is gonna put it there in the chat. And let me go back here. To Mr. Bowie. Yeah, I'm making him too sad looking. That's not him. Yeah, this helps. I like to use a crystal, but put it in sub. So it makes like this mountains, little sharp mountains in my mesh. I think this is looking nice for his brows. Like maybe I'm starting to see some likeness there. I don't know. And fill this up. Let's see, am I using my clay brush? Yes. Clay, 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 clay. Clay, 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 clay. Just filling this up, nothing too exciting. Oh, I said I was gonna do the bottom of the... Yeah, like get this, like... tired bag. Eye bag. Am I saying it weird? Eye bag? Are they called eye bags?
Bags under your eyes. I think that is how you would say it. I don't know how to say it now.
Bags under your eyes.
Yeah, I don't think you'd say eye bags. I don't think, but that's one of those weird ones.
Let's see. Yeah, but I was saying some nice stuff about the course. Yeah, you did a really cool sculpt. You shared it on Twitter, I remember.
Oh, you followed it in Blender? Wow.
Ah, that's true, yeah.
That's cool. It's good to hear that it's applicable.
Yeah. You've done some really cool work, Bodo. You've progressed incredibly. Like from a year ago, your work has really evolved. So that's really cool to see. Who is that I am sculpting is Mr. David Bowie from the 90s. I'm afraid of Americans. Yeah. It's a super loose drawing, so I understand if you didn't quite see the resemblance there. I didn't spend heaps of time there. Yeah, I'm starting to go in a bit more detail, but still not get caught up with super defining perfectly shapes here. Don't fall in the trap of detail when you are still in the early stages. That's the biggest trap. You get tunnel vision and then you spend hours and hours on something just for it not to work. So the best thing is just keep it loose. Keep it loose, keep building it, and slowly you'll find the shapes. Let's work on that nose. Let's see, where is my side view? Here's a good profile. I got plenty of... I tried to get reference from all around, not just like front or side. So I really understand the shapes. Let's see. It's got this cool shape for the nose. And I'm also gonna make this much sharper there. I see there's some questions on social media. Yeah.
I've got that.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, check out his work. It's really good. And I love sharing your work, guys. If you tag me on Instagram, I'm always sharing those as stories, because it makes me really excited that when someone follows a tutorial and see how things come out. I have a Twitter, so if you use that, feel free to tag me there if you want to share any of your work. It's just really fun to see what you guys are creating. I've been receiving a lot of the Sculpt bugs from that tutorial that I made for beginners, and it's really cool. It's really fun because people make sometimes they make their own designs, make changes, or just to see your own take. It's becoming a really nice collection of skulls over there. That nose still doesn't look like Bowie's nose. And this is the problem about rushing. I kind of wish I got it better in an earlier stage, but I went too soon into this. It's a bit rounder here. I'm used to saying Michael, so I feel like I'm doing his nose.
Don't do that to David Bowie.
You have a good nose. What are you talking about? That's all good, Dorothy. It's more than fair what you're saying. The software changes, there's tools that change plays and stuff. And it's also been, I think, almost a year since it was released, so there will definitely be different things. Well, it's almost looking more human. I don't know what you guys think. Early creepy stages. Eee. I am gonna block in the mouth. And Bowie seems to have like a small mouth. I actually quite like this reference. Once like the whole sculpt like in a neutral pose is made, I think I'm gonna try to attempt to do this expression, this subtle tilt of the head, something real cool, show a little bit of the teeth, but that's for later. Right now I'm just gonna keep it more neutral like this. But yes, you can see on my reference I try to make the lips like quite tiny. I guess that's also in harmonious with the nose, which he's got like a thin nose. So get that thinness, and first I just want to get roughly where the mouth is gonna go. It's much lower. Let's bring this, yeah, this distance is long. More or less that's gonna be there. Right now it looks really silly. Yeah, and I'm gonna pinch this, kind of start creating a corner for the top lid. If you are looking into making character sculpts for animation, I recommend you do your character with the mouth slightly open. Because you want to be able to sculpt the inside of the mouth. when you're doing the retopology process is much easier. It's just usually how you work. You don't want to have it super open because that deforms the face. You just want to have a tiny opening. So could be maybe something like this. I want to give him that expression that I showed you earlier with the teeth, so I need to make sure that I'm able to go inside. It looks really silly at the time right now. Something like that probably is a good start for the mouth. I still haven't quite defined the lips, as you can see. It kind of looks like Bob's Burgers profile right now. Oh yay, thank you for getting the course, Isa. Yeah, please, I'd love to see what you create. I love faces and the anatomy and exploring shapes. Like realism, I find realism really cool, but at the same time I love to see how like you can deform things. But it's difficult. I think it's taken me quite a bit of years to get to where I am at the moment, and I still think there's plenty to learn. That's also why I do a lot of drawing. It helps me complement the sculpt. I've been doing drawing and illustration for way more years than sculpting. See you, Boro. Have a nice day. Thank you for joining. Good to see you, compa. Alright, so I'm gonna start defining even more shapes here and getting this, the laughing line, the nasolabial, and this is cool. I chose an older Bowie because the wrinkles are fun. Because the skin starts to sag. Like, see how? Let me see a cool reference. I mean, the lighting also makes him look a bit younger. But there is some, probably this one. You can see here in the shadows how this skin is starting to hang, how there's a little bit of mass here that's starting to go down, and it's even more evident later. But I love to see that sort of things, how the character that it gives to a face. And I sort of sketched it here and exaggerated it a bit. Here you can see how this is like going down a little bit, especially in this, the nasolabial, the laughing line. So that's the part that I'm thinking about right now, what I'm building with these shapes. It's always good to look at all sort of angles like this. I think I'm making mine too blobby. It's a bit flatter, at least from the top there. That was cheekbones. I'm not that happy with them right now, but I'll come back to them. So some, of course, amazing wrinkles happening around the eyes. And I haven't fully solved down here, this area of the eyes. Let me mask this and bring this up a little bit. I'm eventually gonna merge the eyelids here, but not yet, there's, I think, still plenty of work to do here to adjust here. Yeah, feel free to ask me anything during this process, or even topics, different topics, things that you found in Nomad. I am here to talk to you guys. It's the opportunity. I am here. Michael is here in the background. He's the one in the chat. And
he's editing tutorials in the background.
Yeah, Michael is editing a tutorial in the background.
All work and no play makes Homer so and so.
What?
You remember that episode of The Simpsons, the Shining one?
Ah, yeah. Yes. I haven't watched that one in a while. I love The Simpsons, but I never liked too much the Halloween episodes. I don't know why. Any other Simpson fan over here? I've been rewatching the series on Disney Plus in Spanish, because I grew up watching that in Spanish. I love the Spanish version. The Mexican, well, Latin American more like, not Mexican necessarily. This is one of my favorite part of the face, the chin, because like underneath the lips we get like this shape that kind of looks like a sad face. I'm gonna draw it so you guys see what I mean. Yeah, I need color. Where are you, color? Here. Like this. Sad face. And the distance between the top lid and the sad face can vary. Some people have the sad face like all the way here. Some people have like a super sad face like that. Some people, it's not quite sad, it's more like not impressed. But that's something that you can play with when you're stylizing faces, when you're stylizing characters. For example, Mr. Bowie. Look at this distance. This is the lip. And then there's a lot of distance here, and then he's got that curve, the sad face. So lip here, distance here, and sad face. And it's not super sharp for him. I'm gonna even make it a bit square. It's not incredibly sad, it's not like this. It's more unimpressed than sad. This is the sort of things that I talk about in the course with way more detail. Like I showed you earlier, that question mark that is created on the face when you're doing the cheekbones, this rhythm. I love to look out for rhythms that everyone has. This sort of shapes, easy shapes to remember. We all have them, but they're really different from person to person. And this is what makes our face unique. There's things that are like more rooted in our bone structure than the just the features. When I was younger, less experienced artist, I used to focus on the eyes, the nose, and I thought that likeness was all about that. And then I realized that I was really wrong. Let's try to get those lips a little bit more. That's probably really, actually a really big lip, because Mr. Bowie has really thin lips. Let me see a profile view right here. Profile view, profile view. Yeah, I kind of like the bottom shape, the bottom lid, and I can start shaping much nicer that cool chin he's got. There we go. There we go. Trying to define a bit more just bits of the skin that are hanging a little bit, and I'm exaggerating this. I will eventually smooth them, but I'd rather have things over-defined. There's some of the cheekbone as well here. Let me see. This is it maybe wouldn't hurt to see the ear. Right now I think I just have a cylinder, very simple cylinder there. Oh, this is really exaggerated. He was much older. Anyway, ear. This is still my base mesh, so it's not quite in place where it should be, but it's fine. That's easy to modify. Let's see what I did here. Slightly longer. Right over here. And see how it looks in relation to his face. Now he doesn't have very protruding ears, like they are really flat in his skull, like you can barely see like them beep on the outside. A tiny bit more here. That they're long, but they don't point out too much. So I want to try to get that, so pointing out a little bit, but mostly flush to the head. And I can mirror it, and I can get an idea of where they're gonna go. I think I'm gonna validate. I don't want to move that. And because I have the reference of the ear, I can probably do better decisions now, because I gotta see the whole face. Let's build this volume underneath a bit more. And when you got multi-resolution levels like this, that you can go from a mesh with less to more topology, it makes it easier if you need to fix something, like you need to smooth because it looks real blobby and bad. When you have a lot of resolution, it's much more difficult to fix that sort of things. There's a cool reference to look at the, yeah, look at that beautiful chin, and not chin, jaw line he's got. Jawline, so it's a slight, there's still some definition there, regardless of him being slightly older here. But still, this skin is starting to go down, because that is just the effect of gravity. The older we get, the more the gravity will affect us. Wrinkles are just that. It's a skin that is getting heavier. That cheekbone is looking really weird. Yeah, it's starting to see something there. Hopefully this is not disappointing, because these stages are so weird looking that you might be thinking, this woman doesn't know what she's doing. And it's partly true. I am discovering a lot of the shapes, I'm discovering a lot of the design, especially because I'm not working to make him realistic. I'm working more stylized, so it's trying to figure out what does this look like when I simplify it. What is better to simplify, what is not a good idea to simplify but to keep more realistic. All happens, yes, we all get old. Why be angry about that? Let's just embrace it. Yes, slightly more defined lips here. And I've already been going for an hour and a half, so I'll just do a little bit more and then let you all guys go. I will continue to document this process to the end, so keep recording the whole thing, make some extra videos about it in case anyone is curious. Let's see. Thank you, Isa. I'm glad that you're finding something good out of this chaotic process that I have of trying to find shapes and stuff. I still don't like his nose. I'm not quite getting his nose. Now it looks like my nose. I started making my husband's nose and then I changed it to look it like mine, and that is gonna happen a lot because we are our biggest reference, so we're always gonna do that. I am planning to do more live streams now, and I would love to hear what topics you guys want me to talk about, or the sort of things that you want me to sculpt here. There will be assets that will be for Patreon. I still haven't decided if this sculpt is gonna be available in Patreon. But the videos that I make, those are gonna be on YouTube. Those are gonna be
the sculpt we wouldn't be able to put on Patreon because it's someone's likeness.
True. Yeah, that's not something that I can put on Patreon. Yeah, because I'm
the video will be for everyone though.
Yes, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah, that's because it's someone else's face, and yeah, I cannot do that with someone else's face. Let's see, Alex, you're liking the direction that I'm going. Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking that the lips maybe can go a bit wider. I did them on this drawing a bit thin, but I think you're right. I'm probably going way too thin. I appreciate your feedback, and the fact that we were both thinking the same thing, I'm just like, yeah, I was probably not going in the right direction. Maybe something a bit like this is still a fluid process. Easy to make changes at this stage. Did you study some anatomy for face sculpt? Yes, I am a bit of a nerd for anatomy. I love studying anatomy. I love making drawings of bones, of muscles. Yeah, I've done plenty of anatomy studies in my life, of the whole body and the face. I find the face fascinating. It's just really weird. It helps. I think that anatomy are those things that it never hurts to study if you're doing any of this. Even if you're like in rigging, in animation, I think that there's a lot of value things that will inform you much better on your decisions when you understand the reasons behind the human body. You don't have to be a massive nerd like me and learn all the muscle and the bone names. Like, as long as you understand the shapes, you will have a massive advantage. Yay, thank you, Dorothy. I'm glad that it's starting to look like him. Yeah, that's always the fear. Especially because I'm doing it live. If I'm just doing it on my own, like, I can go through all the bad stages and eventually get there. But when I'm live, it's like, I gotta make him look like something. Mumbro te wata, or te fata, if that is in New Zealand. Well, awesome to have cut the live. Yeah, I'm glad you made it. In-depth breakdown of the settings in the top menus. I have made videos of these menus. Some of them are slightly out of date because they're more than a year old. But in which I literally explain some of these tools. I might be doing some revised version of the things that have changed. Some menus are new, like the material one, so there's not a video for that one. But yeah, you might find several of these menus already have been discussed in some videos. Yay! You're Maori, that's awesome! Are you in New Zealand? We're in New Zealand. So it's Te Whata, nice. I don't know if I said the first part right. Kia ora. And I'm still pretty new to New Zealand, so I don't know much te reo. Alex also brings another good point. Having the lips too small is also why the nose maybe doesn't look too well. Yes, absolutely. Maybe when sometimes it's one feature that doesn't look right, which breaks everything else. Because the face, it's like system. What?
Relative to itself.
Yeah, the face is relative to itself. So you gotta be jumping around. You shouldn't have like tunnel vision and I'm just gonna be working on this one thing. You gotta be moving to start to get something looking fine. And I'm gonna leave it like here for now because we've been going for a bit longer than an hour and a half. I just want to go through the last comments before I say thank you and I sign off.
When's your next stream?
When is the next stream? I have not decided. Maybe in 2 weeks?
It's up to you. It's whenever you can be bothered. Next weekend you're probably editing a video, I imagine.
Yeah, next weekend I'm gonna be working on a video, so I'm thinking in 2 weeks. We'll see. Awesome. Munro is only a week into 3D. Wow, we're just starting this incredible journey.
Keep putting in the hours, that's the key.
Yes, yeah, just keep going, keep going. The start is always the learning curve can feel sometimes stressful. Let me save this. Save. I don't know if I have some older sculpts that I did that I can show you. I think I don't have them in my system anymore. But there's like being an incredible change from my work from a year ago. So just keep going at it. Like seriously, good practice makes a difference. Yeah, I can absolutely aim for once a month doing a live stream. Hopefully I can do it a bit more often. It's just fun. Yeah, but anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. I so appreciate you being here, spending some time with me, chatting away, and your lovely comments. We make these videos for you, so it really feels our souls and gives us some lovely warm feelings to have you around. Looking forward to see you soon in a new sculpt, and yeah, feel free to contact us, send us a message, share your sculpts, and happy sculpting. Bye.
Bye.